Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where we talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. Quite a bit went down this episode, so let's break everything down. I love that we've got a montage across both points of like Bunchy and Mickey hitting the road with Maria, which that's kind of an interesting thing on its own, because I love that whole thing of like, oh yeah, I forgot what it was. It was like, do you know what my name was that I picked out? And Mickey was like, oh yeah, Patrick. It's like, no, that was what Ray's was. Mine was, I forgot what his was, but for him it was just kind of to prove the point that Mickey wasn't there. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, so-and-so was a good stand-in. That made him decide, I gotta take Maria. I can't afford not to be in her life, because it's like, yeah, he said all that stuff about his dad last episode, but he also said all the shit he said about his dad last episode too. He said the good and the bad, and it's like, nah, I'm not gonna make that mistake with Maria, which is kind of crazy considering he's not thinking, you literally just busted your dad out, and that's just gonna be hell to pay all on his own. You're not really thinking. To be fair, their plan is to kind of get across the border, but we'll kind of get to that soon enough. But all that's happening while a music montage to Ray training at Terry's gym, which is pretty dope. Getting Ray back in shape. He's working. He talking to Sam, and it's like, yo, set me up with this place. Bring Lena to work here, which Lena's kind of pissed because it's like, thanks for bringing me all the way out here, Ray. You kind of being pissed like she was before, because she's like, yeah, Ray doesn't thank her, and she's like, thanks for moving all the way out here to New York for me, Lena. It's like, fuck you, Ray. Which I love that. I didn't realize literally everything this season is literally moving to New York. It didn't correlate in my head, which is interesting. Literally everyone is in New York except for Connor. To be fair, like, he's going to be off to Germany soon enough, but still, like, 95% of the cast is, 90% of the cast is in New York now, which is crazy. I wasn't expecting that to but to be fair, it kind of all fits with what Mickey's up to, because he's exacting his revenge. Because I didn't realize Mr. Lucky is shooting in New York. Also didn't realize, maybe that came up last season, the whole, like, Sam, like, her company is running the whole Mr. Lucky production, which I had no idea. So that's, for her, it's kind of like, yeah, Jay needs to get his shit together. This is my money he's messing with. So it's like, okay. So that adds a whole layer to this whole Mr. Lucky situation. Like I said, it might have brought that up last season. I'm just I don't remember. Not less than the time frame between last season and this season, like, Sam acquired that whole project under her company's umbrella. But nevertheless. But like I said, your boy Ray. I even love that thing where he met with that woman, I think her name was Justine, to kind of buy that tape off. And it's like, oh, so she's like, oh, do you and Lena talk about personal lives? And he's like, no, which is like, yeah, him and Lena never really get that personal. He never got that I don't know how close he gets with anybody. He never really got close with Lena. Never got really close to Avi either. He kind of keeps his distance. Even in his own, when it comes to his general family, he kind of keeps them at a distance too, which is kind of funny. But she's like, oh, did Lena ever mention me? We were together. I was modeling in LA, and he's like, no. Oh, okay. She's like, I'll tell. He's like, I'll tell you said hi. And then they meet up, and he's like, so how'd you meet her? It's like, modeling. She was in LA. He's like, cool. Why is she here in New York? Oh yeah, she's trying to stay closer to her brother in Rikers. And he's like, oh, she seems like a nice girl. And then Lena's like, what? He's like, yeah, she seems like a nice girl. Why don't you take her out for dinner sometime? Lena looks at him like, who the fuck are you? Like, what? What is happening here? And Ray's like, here's some money. And she's looking at him like, what? Even later on, he's asked, oh, did you get a table? And she's like, Justine says thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm like, what is this? Because even Lena's like, what? Him getting all, like, invested in her life like that. Him all smiles. I'm like, hey. Because at first I was like, is he trying to make small talk with Lena? Which he kind of was. I was like, what? This is incredible. I love it. I guess it's kind of like new Ray. To be fair, Ray kind of like becomes a little new and reinvents himself. I guess this is kind of like Ray 2.0 to a certain degree. I guess at this point in time by the series, it's kind of more like 3.0, 4.0. But still, like, he's kind of better now. He's kind of back. But I think he's taken a lot of the stuff, I guess, built from the time he was with Mac, and kind of realizing like, hey, I take Lena for event. I take for granted, Lena being here. So it's like, hey, like, her love life and everything. It's like, hey, you deserve to be happy too, it's so weird. It's also interesting the whole him and Bridget situation, because it's like, oh yeah, like, they're not, like their conversations are very short and brief. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if they've really had. I can't honestly tell you the last time they had a very long, heart-to-heart, extensive conversation. Even at the beginning, in the first episode, they didn't really have one. It's really interesting in this one because it's like, oh, it's kind of like, oh, I can do this for you. No. So it's kind of like a pretty, like I'm pretty sure like if you timed it, that whole scene lasted maybe 3 minutes of them kind of having like pretty like one-sided back and forth with each other. It was weird. So like obviously things aren't 100% back where they were. I mean, things are better, but they're still weird and awkward. Even the fact is Ray was like, oh yeah, Sam offered you an internship on the campaign, which she was like, I didn't ask you to do that, which is kind of like, I don't know whether it's just because Bridget has in her mind like she doesn't want anything from her dad, she wants to make it on her own, or is it because she knows about who Sam is and kind of what Sam is up to, so she doesn't want to get mixed up in that? In particular, does she not want to get mixed up in anything that her dad might try to create? Like, is it more so because her dad hooked her up with the internship that she has such a problem with? I don't know, because it seemed like she's got something on her mind when it comes to her dad. It's just like she's not getting it off her chest. And you kind of thought she probably would have gotten it all off her chest last season, but it's like, I don't know. Because it also seems like, oh, she's in the whole Smitty situation, and last time we saw it seemed like she didn't really want that, but now she does, so it's kind of like, I don't know. It's really hard to say what the hell Bridget wants. I'm actually not sure, like, because like I said, it legitimately seemed like she was pissed, because I guess it's, for her, it's kind of like Ray's interfering in her life. It's like, I literally came all the way to New York for you to get not to be a part of my life, but it's like you're offering him to come to dinner like the first episode of the season, so it's like I don't honestly know where Bridget stands. Whether like all that was just kind of conjecture I'm kind of building upon, maybe none of that's real reason, maybe there's other reasons behind her kind of not wanting this internship, but we'll have to wait and see. But man, oh man, does the blackmail run deep. First, she blackmailed the dude who's going to ask the questions, while also blackmailing one, well, not really blackmailing, but kind of paying one dude to be like, oh yeah, a guy that's running for mayor again. It's like, yep, for re-election. It's like, yeah, you said some pretty racist stuff to me, this, and this. And he's like, and he's trying to explain it. And Anita's like, no. You're not going to cut off another woman this time. Everyone's like, I'm like, yeah, she took that and she ran with it. I also love the fact that she's like, did you ever think that I didn't want to run things like that? Which, yeah, Ray being like, I don't care what you want. I don't take orders from you. It's like, yeah, we all work for Sam. So this is Sam's world. We're all just pieces, part of her pie in this whole situation. Pieces on her chessboard, I guess. Pieces are, I don't know what the hell I was going with that. So that's interesting. I also love that Ray got his revenge this episode. It's like the firefighters that kicked his ass in like the first episode. Now it's like gets the payback. The final guy's like, oh, you're going to use that bat on me like he used on the other two? And Ray drops it and bam, bam, bam. It's like, yeah. It's like, it's so sweet. You get to walk away victorious. Max sadly still got his ass kicked, but it's kind of like, yeah, because I literally kind of cheered when I was like, yeah, sweet revenge. I'm petty and messed up for enjoying that, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a little payback. It's like, you were messing with Ray at his lowest. Ray is back at the top of his game, suckers. Well, I don't know why I said suckers like that. I guess maybe I'm in a Mr. Lucky type of mood. I have no idea why the hell that came out of my mouth. God. These recordings get super weird when I get tired and sleepy and start recording. It's shut up. I just need to shut up. Ignore me and my BS. Anyway, so that was pretty neat. It's actually kind of sad. I think they're going to take that Max storyline down a depressing route. I just kind of get this inkling because he's got problems with his ex-wife and her new man, and just kind of like it ruins his, because it's like, oh, I got everything planned out for me and Jimmy, and it's like Jimmy didn't even come over because Amber's like, dude took him out for like bowling or whatever, and now he's kind of like eating the cake by like Mac is eating the cake by himself and stuff like that. So I'm kind of getting the feeling like he might snap when it comes to the Amber situation. I hope it doesn't go down that route, but I don't see things ending well. That seems like that storyline of like things are going to get nasty and he's going to want Ray to help him cover up, because it's like so far it's kind of like a quid pro quo. Like Ray's asking for his help for like FBI connection that will help track down his brother and his dad. So there's that whole situation, but there's also like, I don't know. Like the way he looked at him when he was eating that cake and he just kind of looked defeated and sad and broken. I'm like, that doesn't look good, especially because he was kind of telling Ray to kind of stick around, because I think Ray's the only thing kind of helping balance him out a little bit. He seems a little off edge, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm hoping it doesn't turn to what I think it potentially could, because that'd be super dark and depressing, but I mean, the show doesn't stay away from dark and depressing. So what else went down in this episode? Well, let's talk about it. Bunchy and Mickey showing up on the set while Daryl's struggling as a producer. I love that. Like, what was it that Jay said? He was like, I'm the motherfucking talent. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Because it's like, oh, you telling me you don't want me to have this rifle? He's like, I want AKs. And then it's kind of like, what kind of stupidity is that? You telling me to get AKs? I got a rifle. And it's like, Daryl's like, what? You just told me. And he said that. And I was like, man, that's the toughest job as a producer. Like, it's not all glam and glory like Daryl thought it would be. It's like, things suck. Just because Jay's kind of getting high all the time, and it's just kind of being late, costing them money, and it's a whole other issue in itself. But he does kind of learn to go, hey, rather than pissing Jay off, which he did because he flushed Jay's drugs, it's like, hey, why don't I become his enabler and do all that? I also love the fact is that Mickey was there earlier, and the guy walks by, and some lady's like, hey, are you someone famous? And he's like, nah, I'm just some guy that looks like Mickey's like, yeah, I'm just some guy that Jay gets to shoot. And it pisses Mickey off even more. I'm like, dude. He literally later on pistol whips Daryl and Jay. I'm actually kind of scared for Daryl, because like he's like, oh, you're not my son. It's like, I doubt he'll kill him. I was halfway expecting him to shoot Jay right then and there. I wasn't expecting him to pistol whip him. I'm curious to see what the hell that ends up turning into. Like, are you just kidnapping them for money? That might be what he's doing. He's going to try and ransom them for, like, Jay in particular for money so that him and Bunchy can get out. I mean, this is also about his revenge, because also he called up Ray at the end of the episode, trying to get his trifecta of revenge against the two sons who screwed him over, along with the guy who took his movie and screwed him over. So it's like, yep, that's definitely going to be interesting. What's also interesting is the other side of things with Bunchy. That nun that's with them, not nun, Sandy, who's dressing up like a nun, which is interesting. She said the filthiest thing when they arrived. She's like, oh, Brandon, you might not remember me, but I remember you when you were just like Maria's age. The fact of the matter is, so endowed, even for a baby back then. Haha, I was like, why the fuck did she just say that? What? Who said some shit like that? And laughs about it too. And then she's dressing up like a nun, and it's like the entire time it's just like, ooh, spend the night with me. Even though technically you're his aunt because you married his uncle, Cormac, which is like, don't you think it's a little weird that you're like that? You even suggested that Mickey might share the bed with you. It's like, what? And also the sad part of like, Bunchy having to dress up like a priestess. Like, I was like, I saw the outfit. I was like, is that supposed to... Oh, you definitely know that's got to be pretty rough for Bunchy, because it's just going to bring back, you know, his terrible memories of everything that happened. So it's kind of like, damn. I mean, I guess it's for the new fake IDs and stuff like that, but still, like, I guess if it's something religious, you know, like a nun and priest, people are less likely to look at it. So I guess that's kind of the main reason behind it. That's my justification for it, but I could be completely wrong. Which I'm curious to see what they ultimately do with that. Like, is Bunchy really going to go on the run with his dad? Like, I mean, it's like you got issues with your dad, but for him, it's like I said, at this point in time, he has no one else to 100% turn to. That's why I'm still actually kind of shocked about the whole Bunchy and Teresa thing, because it's like, last time we checked, things weren't good between them anyway, because it's like, oh yeah, Bunchy found out last season that she was cheating on him, so there was that, but obviously because Bunchy's issues are drinking and stuff like that, it's kind of his way of dealing with things. It's kind of how everyone in the family, and it's how all Donovans deal with their issues, is drinking, bury stuff deep down. That's why they are all messed up like they are, considering the fact that you have a dad like Mickey, it's kind of bound to happen anyway. I mean, you're all literally repeats of like his mess up in life. Is kind of like the curse that fell upon his children too. But it's just kind of like an endless cycle of that kind of happening, and it's kind of repeating with Ray's situation with Connor and Bridget. It's almost like they have contempt for Ray to a certain degree, and they're just trying to do everything to kind of not be them. I mean, Bunchy trying not to be his dad by being a better dad than his dad, so I'm curious to see where that all goes. You also had the whole storyline of Terry kind of, it seems like, I guess, like, running the gym is fine and everything, but I guess, like, you know, he was kind of a pretty big deal at one point in time. I guess that was one of his games, because I didn't catch, like, because they never focused on the TV, but, like, they kind of showed you it kind of blurred out a little bit, but I guess that was supposed to be one of his old matches back in the day, and he's just sitting there, I guess, reliving the old days, and now he kind of wants to step back in the ring again. There's that whole, like, underground fight club that's being held, brass knuckles and stuff like that, and I'm like, Terry walks away from it, but I kind of get the inkling we won't see him walking away forever. I'm interested to see what they ultimately do with Terry's story, with all, especially with the whole Brennan and, I mean, Bunchy, well, Brennan, but still, Bunchy and Mickey being down, and the whole, like, Ray situation, like, the family drama that's going down, like, their dad being in down. I mean, their dad doesn't have a problem with Terry, but I'm sure Terry's not going to appreciate the fact is, it's like, yo, you got my little brother mixed up in this, you also got my half-brother, and Jay's mixed up in this, I don't really know the dude, so I don't care about that, but still, I am very interested to find out where all of this is going to take us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.